Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 21st January 2026. First of all, let us see the important articles of the day, and after that I'll explain you the answers of earlier class, and later on we'll come back to the articles and we'll see from both prelims and as well as mains point of view. And at last I'll give you the practice questions based on today's current affairs. And online students, please don't skip this video anywhere because you'll be getting lots of insights related to articles, current affairs, how to analyze them, and even how UPSC can frame a question in the mains and prelims point of view. I'll be dealing with almost all the dimensions, guys. Okay, first of all, let us see the articles. First article is Trump slams UK's move to relinquish the Chagos Islands. Actually, UK wants to give back this Chagos Islands. Because of this, here this article is in news. But US is also involved in this issue, and US is now slamming UK. That means you have to think that there is certain interest related to this US related to this Chagos Islands. Here you may get directly a prelims based question related to this Chagos Islands, and you have to see in detail about the history of this Chagos Islands. And this topic is important from international relations from GS paper 2. And next topic is Telangana government yet to disburse Raitu Bandhu support to farmers. This article is talking about one farmer related support scheme which is mainly taken up by this Telangana government. So here you may get a question regarding this Raitu Bharosa, and next you have to see about different states. They are launching the different types of schemes related to this farmer support. You have to make a list of that as well, and you can use that as example while you are writing your mains answer. And next topic is India withdraws families of diplomats from Bangladesh. You know that political instability is going on in this Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is going to have elections in next month, that is February 2026. And finally, we are going to withdraw the families of diplomats from Bangladesh. And here you have to see what is happening in this Bangladesh, what is the recent past, and you have to see why our government of India took this step. And this topic is important from international relations, again from GS paper 2. And next topic is Augean Miss. So this article is talking about SIR, Special Intense Division, and Supreme Court asked recently the questions related to this Election Commission of India, and Election Commission of India gave response related to that. The same article already we discussed that many a times in our earlier classes. This topic is important from your polity from GS paper 2. And next topic is bridging the Gulf. As you all know that in our yesterday's class we discussed India signed a letter of intent with UAE. So UAE is one of the Gulf country, right? So here this article is talking about what are the agreements which we made with UAE, and as well as what challenges that we have and how we have to overcome those challenges. This topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. Next topic is the EV boom is accelerating a copper crunch. So here you have to see this word copper crunch. So as you all know that most of the countries, they are moving towards green energy. In this green energy, they want to move towards diesel vehicle. They are moving against, or they are moving apart from this diesel and petrol vehicles towards electric vehicles. In this electric vehicles, what is the important part in that vehicle? Battery. And here, especially to make that batteries, we need critical minerals, rare earth metals, and especially copper. So what is happening here is there is increased demand for the copper. Because of this, the supply is less and demand is more. That is leading to this copper crunch now. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under science and technology. And next topic is the importance of PAC Silica for India. So actually this PAC Silica is a summit which is organized by US. And here you have to see what this summit is about. You may get directly a question related to this PAC Silica, like consider the following statements related to this PAC Silica. And next one here is recently PAC Silica is in news. It deals with what? They'll give you A, B, C, D type of options. So in this way, this article is very important from your prelims point of view, and even you can use that as an example while you're writing your mains answers also. I'll tell how. And this topic is important from international relations from GS paper 2, guys. All these are the topics that we are going to discuss in this present class. Okay, now let us see the answers for the yesterday's prelims questions. The first question is about CBDCs, that is central bank digital currencies. First statement is RBI has proposed linking CBDs of BRICS nations to facilitate cross-border trade and reduce reliance on US dollar. This statement is right, and this is directly the title which is given in our yesterday's article. And next one is this proposal is expected to be discussed at BRICS summit hosted by India in 2026. Yes, in that infographic of that article, we saw that yes, India is going to host this in 2026, and India wants to propose this in this meet of 2026. This is also right. And next statement is all major BRIC countries, including China and Russia, have fully launched retail CBDCs for public use. No, not it. You know that China is even in pilot project only. It didn't come up with this complete retail CBDCs. So here this third statement will be wrong. Answer will be 1 and 2 only. Option A is the right answer. And next question is, consider the following statements about UAE. It is a map based question. First one is, it consists of 7 emirates. Yes, UAE contains 7 emirates. In that 7 emirates, the largest is Abu Dhabi, which is around 83% of total land of this UAE. So this statement will be right. And next one is, the UAE shares longest land border with Saudi Arabia. So actually UAE will share the land boundary with two countries, Oman and as well as Saudi Arabia, and it shares the largest boundary with Saudi Arabia on west and as well as south directions. It is also right. And this one is, the Strait of Hormuz lies between UAE and Iran, connects Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. So this is also the basic fact that everyone knows. Yes, it is also right. The correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now let us see today's articles. Okay, look at the titles now. See the first article. Trump slams UK's move to relinquish the Chagos Island. So here the keyword is Chagos Island. Do you know where is this Chagos Island located? Any idea, anyone? Exactly the location of Chagos Island. Anyone, do you know this? Come on, think. Okay, I'll show you this image. Can you see this image? So this green, this circle, it is Chagos Islands. Okay. So which are the countries you can see nearby? Here we have Mauritius. And here you can see a small island, archipelago in this Chagos Island, that is called as Diogracia. Okay, so see this and remember this. I'll show you one more image. So here if you see this image, I think image is not that much clear, even though you can see something. So this is India. Can you see this? Can you identify India? And here this is our Gulf countries. This is your, this part is Horn of Africa and this is Africa. Here we have Madagascar. Here we have Mauritius. Can you see? Here we have Chagos Archipelago. In this, the largest one is Diogracia. So in which ocean is located? Indian Ocean. Clear? So if you see the location of this archipelagos, you are present in Indian Ocean region, and nearby we have Mauritius, Madagascar, Seychelles. Okay, and the largest island in this archipelago. Archipelago means nothing but the group of islands. Group of islands is called as archipelago. In this group of islands, the large one is Diogarcia. Diogarcia is the largest island in this group of archipelago. Clear? So this is the map that you have to remember. In this map, you may get a question. Okay, now let us go back to the title of this article. If you see this title of the article, it is saying that Trump, who is Trump? US President. Trump slams. Slams means nothing but he's criticizing, he's scolding. Whom? US. So UK moved to relinquish the Chagos Islands. Now what is this article is saying that US is scolding UK for its move. What is the move of UK now? It wants to give back this Chagos Islands. Okay, so there is a very high chance of getting question related to this Chagos Islands. They'll give you a question this way. Chagos Islands is seen recently in news. In which of the following ocean it is located? They'll give you Atlantic, Pacific, Indian Ocean. That will be easy. And the second type of question you may get is, recently Chagos Islands is seen in news. Consider the following statements. They'll give you 3 to 4 statements related to this, and they may ask you correct or incorrect. Okay, now Chagos Islands is under control of UK. So like that, across the world, we have many islands which are disputed. For example, I think you might know about islands in South China Sea, islands in East China Sea, right? For example, Parcel Islands, Spratly Islands, Scarborough Islands, Guam Islands. So like that, you have to make the note of different disputed islands in the world, and it is disputed between which and which country, and next in which ocean they are located. Here they may give you the question in this way. Consider the following pairs. For example, they'll give you Chagos Islands, Indian Ocean, and the third row will be UK and US issue. And next they'll give you Parcel Islands, East China Sea, between China and Japan. Like that, they'll give you this kind of questions. That means today your work is you have to make the list of disputed islands in the world, and you have to see their locations. You can use Google and you can get easily that. So do that work. There is a high potential of getting a question related to that as well. So you may get 3 types of questions. Okay. So now let us see this article in detail, and just exactly you have to focus on this Chagos Island. Why US is involved in this? What is the US interest? And why UK wants to give it back? And if UK wants to give it back, to which country it will be giving? That is also very important. Okay, if you see this context, it is saying that US President Donald Trump, he is criticizing the UK's agreement to transfer sovereignty of Chagos Island to Mauritius. In map, you already see that Mauritius is very, very near to this Chagos Islands. So actually this Chagos Island belongs to this Mauritius itself. But it was occupied by UK. And now UK wants to give it back to Mauritius. But why US President is criticizing this move? Because of US is having interest in this Diego Garcia. Okay, let us see why. What is that relation? Why Diego Garcia is important for US. Okay, if you see certain facts regarding this Chagos Archipelago, Chagos Islands, this archipelago is nothing but the group of islands. And this archipelago is having around 58 islands. And it is approximately 500 kilometers south of Maldives in Indian Ocean region. And actually, if you see the history of these islands, French were the first to colonize this Mauritius along with these Chagos Islands in 1715. I think in your world history, you will come across all these things. And even the modern history also, you'll be seeing that Portuguese entered India, Dutch entered India, British entered India, French entered India. And at that time, they colonized certain things, right? You know about this colonialism, right? So at that time, during 1715, so this Mauritius and as well as this Chagos Islands, they were colonized by this French. They were French colonies. And in late 18th century, the French brought in slave labor from Africa and as well as India to work in coconut plantations. After once French colonized this area, they bought labor at a very cheap cost and as well as bonded labor from Africa and as well as India, and they started working in this coconut plantations in this Mauritius and as well as this area. And later on, UK took over the control of this region in 1814. Okay. After the fall of France, Napoleon Bonaparte. Do you know this Napoleon? I think in your French Revolution, you might have heard about this Napoleon Bonaparte. After the fall of this person in France, this archipelago and this Mauritius came under control of UK. And in 1965, UK constituted a British Indian Ocean Territory in this Chagos Island. Okay, now what happened here is, at that time, at that time, after this UK occupied this, and after UK developed BIOT in that region, finally in 1968 Mauritius got independence. India got independence in 1947, right? But this Mauritius got independence in year 1968, even though this Chagos Islands remained with Britain at that time. Okay, even though Mauritius got independence, this Chagos Island was remained with British. And now finally UK wants to give this Chagos Islands back to this Mauritius now. Okay, now let us see about this Dio Garcia. So what is the interest of US in this island? Dio Garcia is the largest island in this Chagos archipelago, and it is known as British Indian Ocean Territory or BIOT, and it is a remote group of atolls in this central Indian Ocean region. And if you see the geography here, it is around 7 square miles of land, and it is around 44 square kilometers, and it is coral atoll. It is made up of corals. And next important point you have to see is there is no permanent civilian population here, but only we have military personnels, contractors and support staff belonging to this US and UK. So actually US and UK came up with a military agreement related to this Dio Garcia, and they developed military base in this Dio Garcia. If UK is giving back this Chagos Island, there will be US interest will be affected, right? So US cannot have this kind of military bases, military activities in this island now. So because of this, US is criticizing this move of UK to give back this Chagos Island. But UK is very clear that yes, we are going to give this Chagos archipelago back to this Mauritius, but we are not going to give this Dio Garcia. So that is the thing which is there in news. Okay, clear? That is the thing that you have to remember. Okay. So actually UK agreed in May 2025 to transfer sovereignty of entire Chagos archipelago to Mauritius under a treaty, but UK retains control and leases back again this Dio Garcia specifically for at least next 99 years. So even though here UK wants to give back this entire archipelago, but it will retain its control on this Dio Garcia because it has its military base. And next one is they are going to give certain amount of money to this Mauritius, and they want to extend the lease next 99 years. That is the thing which is there in the news case. Okay, why US is having interest in this region here is, if US is having its own military base in this region, it will be having proper surveillance of Middle East, Persian Gulf, South Asia, East Africa, and as well as Indo-Pacific region. And actually US used this Dio Garcia especially during this 1991 Gulf War, and even Afghan invasion in 2001 and Iraq invasion, in all these invasions. So how US attacked these countries and how US had control in this region here is because of this Dio Garcia. If US is losing its control on this military base in this Dio Garcia, means it will be losing entire its control in all these areas like West Asian region, Persian Gulf, Gulf of Oman, and as well as in this Afghanistan, Pakistan, in all those regions, here US will be losing the control. So because of this, US is criticizing UK's move. Clear? Okay, that is the thing guys, nothing more than that. And actually why UK is now giving back that territory to Mauritius here is, ICJ, International Court of Justice, said that yes, UK has to return back that because Mauritius got independence way back in 1968. Why you are controlling that? It is against international law. Because of that judgment of International Court of Justice, now UK is giving that back. Okay, that is the thing, and it's a major event because US and UK are going to lose their control in this region. Okay, if Mauritius is not going to accept this 99 years of treaty or lease related to this island, US and UK is going to lose the control in Indian Ocean region as well as West Asian region, everything. Because of this, it's going to be change our future geopolitics. So because of this, you may get a question regarding this Chagos Islands, and you have to see especially map of this Chagos Island. At last, I'll be showing you one prelims question on that, okay, so that you can practice. And now let us say the next question. Say this: Telangana government had to disburse Raitu Bharosa support to farmers. Earlier the scheme name is Raitu Bandhu, After the government change in Telangana, they changed this name to Raitu Bharosa. Okay, if you say about this scheme is also known as Farmers Investment Support Scheme, FISS, Farmers Investment Support Scheme. It has been implemented from the year 2018 to 2019 onwards. And the benefit here is how much amount of the money will be given to the farmer here is per acre, they will give 5,000 rupees. And there is no cap on number of acres. Who are eligible? Farmers must be the residents of this Telangana state. All farmers are eligible, including big farmers, small and marginal farmers, everyone. And this one here is commercial farmers are not eligible under this scheme, and farmers who are working on rental contract or tenant farmers are not eligible. Okay, so this is about the scheme. And in the same way, in Odisha also we have scheme called as Kalia. In AP also, what is that scheme name? In AP also the similar scheme. AP guys. Hmm? In Karnataka also similar type of scheme. What is that? No idea. Huh? Farmers incentive schemes. Okay, please make a list of farmers incentive schemes of different states. In Odisha it is Kalia for sure. In AP also the similar kind of scheme is there, but I can't recall the name. So make the list of this farmers incentive schemes, because in your economy you will be having agriculture, industries and tertiary sector. They are the part of your mains. While you are writing your mains answer, you have to give this kind of supportive schemes of different states also in your economy. From that point of view, please make a note. And say this article guys, India withdraws families of diplomats from Bangladesh. Okay, this is not at all a new topic. You know what happened in Bangladesh? What is happening in this Bangladesh? Instability in Bangladesh, right? Why this instability is happening in Bangladesh? If you want to understand the history, you have to go back to 1971 and even before this 1971. Okay, let us go even before 1971. When we got independence? In year 1947, we got independence. This independence is based on Mountbatten Plan. What is Mountbatten said? Partition of India. At that time of partition, India divided into Pakistan and as well as India, right? If you see map, it is like this. So here we have Pakistan, here we have Pakistan, and this is India. This Pakistan is called as West Pakistan. This Pakistan is called as East Pakistan. Between India is located. It is like a sandwich. West Pakistan, East Pakistan, between India. These two are like majorly Muslim dominated areas. Okay, that time what happened? This West Pakistan is coercively used to control this East Pakistan. And in this area, this area was formed because of this partition of Bengal, West Bengal and East Bengal part. And in this area, not only Muslim population, even Bengal population were there, right? So because of this, what happened? Because of this coercive control of this West Pakistan and East Pakistan, so East Pakistan wants to get independence. At that time in 1971, there was a war between India and Pakistan, and India helped this area. And finally in 1971, this area got independence from this West Pakistan, and from then onwards it is called as Bangladesh, not East Pakistan. Okay, this war is called as Bangladesh Liberation War. So after this part got independence and after the formation of government in that region, that government gave reservation for the people who participated in this 1971 war in education as well as in jobs. In employment and as well as education, the people who participated in that war, they get reservation. And from that 1971 till 2025, it had been continued for the generations of the people who participated in this war used to get this education and as well as jobs related quota. So because of this in 2025, what happened? the people, students, they started protesting against the government to remove this quota, because it had been many generations they are getting advantage because of this quota, because of those elderly people or their grandparents participated in the war. So because of this, what happened, the students, they got certain support from the leaders and they started fighting against this Sheikh Hasina government. And what happened? That protest became very violent, and even Sheikh Hasina ordered the government to control that kind of protest. And lots of violence was happened at that time. And finally, with the fear of loss of life, she outstayed. She came out of this Bangladesh, and even today also she is residing in India. And what happened now? There is no leader in this Bangladesh. After she ousted, now Bangladesh is under control of Yunus government. Okay. And what happened recently? They decided that we are going to have elections in month of February. And recently, Khaleda Jia also died. She is one of the opposition party leader in this Bangladesh. She also died recently. And now what happened is, they declared that we are going to have elections in February. And the leaders who gave support for the students, they want to contest in the elections. And they came up for campaigning. In that campaigning, what happened? They were shot dead. And again, the protest again started in this Bangladesh, right? Okay, so now what is happening here? India and Bangladesh is also not having good relations. Why? Because in that protest they are targeting Hindus and they are killing this Hindus in that region. And as you all know that India is Hindu based country. So because of this no protection for minorities, and even lots of issues are going on between India and Bangladesh. The one important thing that I can say is Yunus government gifted one book to Pakistan general. On that book, whatever the cover page is there, this cover page is one issue between India and Bangladesh. In that cover page, they included northeastern part in Bangladesh, and they changed entirely the northeastern map of India. So because of this, there are certain concerns regarding India and Bangladesh. And even Bangladesh is moving towards China now. It is also one cause of concern. So because of this, what is happening here? There is no safety and security for Hindus in that Bangladesh. And even you know that we have embassies. What are embassies? Do you know this embassies? So you are also going to prepare for this IFS, Indian Foreign Service, right? So what is the work of Indian Foreign Service? They have to stay in this Indian embassies and they have to maintain good relations with the countries. For example, if you are posted in Bangladesh embassy, you got IFS, and if you are posted in this Bangladesh embassy, do you have safety in Bangladesh? No, right? It is our government of India's responsibility to ensure your safety also. So because of this now, our government is bringing back the diplomats from these embassies of Bangladesh because of lack of safety in that Bangladesh. That is the thing, guys. Nothing more than that. And they said that they are going to have elections in February, and lots of protests are going on in Bangladesh. There is no political stability. There is no proper maintenance of law and order. Because of this, we are bringing back the diplomats and even their families from this Bangladesh. That's it. Okay, let us see the next article. Look at the title, guys. Augean miss. The ECI aims to clean the rolls, but it is scrubbing of genuine voters. What is the issue here? Is this a new topic? It is not at all a new topic. We are talking about this topic from last 1 to 1.5 months. We know that recent elections in Bihar done. So with that elections of Bihar, we came up with this special intense revision, SIR. What is this SIR? We are going for door to door and we are asking their voters in that so and so house, and we are checking their documents. If everything is right, we are going to retain their names in this voter list. If something wrong happened, for example, if there is any duplication, we are removing that names. If there are any ghost voters, like they died, but their names are there, we are removing that. I just want to say if there are any mistakes in the documents, then we are removing their names. If on that time, whenever these officers, they are going to the house, if they are not available in the home, we are removing the names. Then what happens? In UP itself, around 3 crores of names had been deleted from this list. And the same thing happened in the different states, even in the south also, like Kerala and as well as Tamil Nadu. Because of this, what is happening here? There are lots of petitions were filed in the courts related to this SIR. And recently Supreme Court asked a question related to this petitions to Election Commission of India, like what are you doing? What Election Commission said, it is our constitutional duty. It is Article 324 is giving us the power. We have to remove foreign names and we have to ensure free and fair elections. We have to ensure that voter list is clear. We need to remove this duplication of voters. We need to remove this ghost voters. The same thing which is given here, just three Article 324 and they said Article 325 and Article 326. This year these three articles will be important. And you may get a question regarding special entrance division and you have to know about that. Clear? And let us see this next article, bridging the Gulf. Recently what happened? India and UAE signed letter of intent. And we said that we are going to improve our partnership in defense between India and UAE. Please make a note of certain facts, guys. So they gave certain facts in this 5th and 6th, 7th lines. Okay, write down, UAE is India's third largest trading partner. First point, UAE is India's third largest trading partner. Okay, UAE is India's third largest trading partner. That means what is your work? You have to search which is the first trading partner, second trading partner. Okay, clear? And next one is, it is second biggest export destination. Second biggest export destination. Second biggest export destination. Next, seventh biggest foreign investor. Second biggest foreign investor. Second biggest foreign investor. And next point, write down, first bilateral trade agreement signed in 2022. First bilateral trade signed in 2022. Okay, so these are the basic facts. On this facts, UPSC can ask you a statement based question. Okay. In yesterday's class, we saw map based question. On this facts also, you may get a question in your prelims. Okay. Now let us see this article and let us see in detail about what are the agreements, what are the outcomes of this meet and what exactly they are going to do. There are lots of details which are given here. So yesterday in our class we discussed that India and UAE came up with letter of intent and we are going to improve our relationship in defense. The first one here is we are going to improve our defense cooperation. So how? What is that agreement name? Strategic Defense Partnership Framework Agreement has been expanded in our defense industry between India and UAE. That is the first point. And next one here is we are going to enhance trade and economic expansion. Actually, the target of this agreement is we have to double bilateral trade. Actually, this UAE is the third largest partner of trade for India. And further by 2032, we have to increase the trade to $200 billion. That is the one target they came up. And this one is they want to strengthen MSME. What is the full form of MSME? Micro, small and medium enterprises. We have to strengthen MSME linkages via Bharat Mart and virtual trade corridor. And this one is we are going to come up with this Bharat Africa Setu so that we can promote MSME products in Africa and Eurasia. That means whenever we are increasing the production from these MSMEs, obviously we are increasing our production. So if you are increasing our production, we have to sell them, right? If you are not selling them, it is waste of producing those goods. So here, where can we sell here? We can reach Africa and Eurasia markets. How? Through this Bharat Africa Setu. And next one here is we are going to promote UAE investment in our country, especially in Gujarat region. They are going to invest. Okay. And next one is related to energy security. We are going to have 10 years LNG, liquefied natural gas supply agreement. Okay. And next one here is related to nuclear. Also, we are going to have collaboration. We are going to get nuclear technology related to large reactors and as well as small modular reactors. Recently, we came up with this Shanti Act. What is that? Can anyone tell me what is that Shanti Act is about? It is about nuclear production. What is the target? 100 gigawatts by 2047, right? And we are going to give permission for private sector to produce nuclear energy now. If we are not having technology, will these private people invest in that? No. So to support this Shanti Act 2025, we came up with this collaboration with UAE related to technology of larger reactors and as well as small modular reactors. Okay, next one here is we have Gift City, right? So here we are going to open Abu Dhabi's branch of bank in our Gift City, so that we can ensure digital or data embassies, etc. And next one is in space also we are going to have agreement, and in this space also we are going to develop joint space infrastructure and as well as commercial space activities. If UAE wants to launch any satellite, it can directly come to ISRO and it can launch it, because India is taking money and India is launching this other country satellites. It is called as commercial space activities. And next one is they are also going to support startups related to the space sector in India, even training exchange programs between these two countries. Next one here is food security and agriculture trade. So we are going to ensure food safety, and as you all know that West Asian countries, they are having more oil reserves, and even there is no proper soil, and as well as mostly deserts will be there in that region. They cannot go for growing of food as like of India. So because of this, we signed memorandum of understanding so that we can export the food grains to that country. Okay, we are going to facilitate exports of rice and as well as agriculture products from India to UAE under this agreement. And next one is related to the science, technology and innovation. We are going to establish supercomputing cluster under India AI mission, and these two countries, they will focus on supporting of research, innovation and commercial applications related to this science and technology. Yeah, and even we are going to have National Maritime Heritage Complex in Lothal, right? So for that also, Abu Dhabi can contribute for student mobility, tourism, people-to-people contact, culture exchange, everything. But everything is good. But we are having certain challenges between India and UAE. First one is again tariffs. Okay, so what kind of tariffs they are focusing on? Non-tariff barriers. They are not directly imposing taxes on our imports or exports, but they are showing other things. They are non-tariff barriers. What are they? UAE is showing that India is not having cleanliness, sanitary is not there. So if you are importing the products of India, we will get new kind of diseases. So they are showcasing sanitary and as well as phytosanitary measures. Okay, so that it is affecting our exports. And even UAE is Arab country, that means Muslim dominated country. So do you know about this halal? So if you are going to consume any meat, they will ask whether it is halal or not. So if you want to export the meat like poultry or beef or anything, so they are asking for mandatory halal certification. Only if there is halal. Halal is nothing but they will chant something. I don't know clearly. So before cutting this throat of animal, they will be chanting certain mantras. I don't know exactly whether it is right or not, I don't know. But as of my knowledge, I know that yes, before cutting the throat of that animal, they will be chanting certain mantras. It is called as halal. They are asking mandatory halal certification. Especially Muslims, they will consume the meat if halal is done. If halal is not done, they will not consume that meat. So they are asking this mandatory halal certification for poultry meat. So it is also one cause of concern between the trade of meat between India and UAE. And next one here is China. Wherever we go, China's interference will be there, and there is increased interference of China even in UAE. How China is providing loans at a very low cost, it is expanding its infrastructure as part of Belt and Road Initiative. And next one here is UAE is also financially supporting Pakistan, but India and Pakistan are enemies. So it is also one cause of concern, like UAE is involving in this cross-border terrorism against India. And next one is, as you all know that in West Asia there is no political stability at all. And next one is kafala system. So do you know this kafala system? It is nothing but bonded labor. Bonded labor. They will be taking the people and they have to work till they die. Not only their generation, next generation, like that. This system is called as kafala system. but in India, bonded labor is abolished, right? Even we have fundamental rights like Article 23 and Article 24, which talks about rights against exploitation. But even till today, also kafala system is going on in this UAE. That is also one cause of concern between India and UAE relations. Okay, now let us see the next article. This article is saying that EV boom is accelerating a copper crunch. There is nothing much to explain also. The title itself is saying that EV, electric vehicles boom is happening. And in electric vehicles, we need to have, for sure, if we are seeing any electronics, we need to have the copper. Without copper, we cannot make the success of this electronics, right? So if there is increasing of electric vehicles, production, demand, everything, obviously we need more copper. Do India have this copper reserves? Actually, Chile is the country which is having the largest copper reserves, and we are getting our imports from Chile. So here you have to see about even copper. There are lots of articles related to this copper in the recent past. Do this work, guys. You have to see about copper reserves in the world, which countries are having major copper reserves. And next you have to see India is importing copper from which countries. And next, applications of copper, in which areas we are using this copper. And next one is if there are any copper reserves in India, in which states we have this. Okay, see this. For sure you will be getting question related to copper this year. Okay, now let us see here. This article is saying that the EV revolution is not only reshaping our transportation, but also global metal economy. What is a copper crunch? Copper crunch is nothing but the shortage. Because where there is increasing demand but supply is less, that will lead to copper crunch. Why? Copper is very essential for EV batteries, motors, wiring, charging infrastructure, power grids. If you are developing these electric vehicles, we need to keep the charging. So if you want to keep charging in charging stations in power grids, copper is very important. If copper is not there, we cannot go for electric vehicles production and usage. And this article is saying that globally electric vehicle sales have been increased from 0.5 million units in 2015 to 20 million units in 2025. You can see there is increased demand of electric vehicles, increased sales of electric vehicles. Earlier we used to have only two-wheelers, but now we have cars. We have even electric buses, right? So here there is increased demand. Because of this, what is happening? The use of copper had been increased from 27,000 tons to 1.28 million tons. You can imagine the number, from thousands to it went to million tons. From where we can get that million tons of the copper? Is that possible? No. Okay, that is the thing which mainly said here. EV requires 4 to 5 times more copper than normal internal combustion vehicles. That means if you are using these diesel vehicles or petrol vehicles, the copper is very less used in that. But here in this electric vehicles, 4 to 5 times of more copper we need to manufacture for this electric vehicles. And here this article is saying that if the copper crunch happens, what will be the impacts? Can we manufacture electric vehicles? If we are not manufacturing electric vehicles, can we achieve a target of reduction of carbon dioxide emissions? Can we achieve a target of Paris climate deal? Can we achieve a target of carbon neutrality? Can we achieve a target of sustainable renewable energy? All these things will be the impact, guys. Okay, and one more impact you have to remember here is China will become the pricing power because it is having good reserves of copper than India. Okay, so that is the thing, guys, nothing more than that. And now let us see the next article. Please make a note here. Pax Silica. Pax Silica. Okay, Pax Silica summit started in 2025 by US. Right in the first point. Pax Silica summit started by US in 2025. And next, write down aim. Aim, AIM, aim. Aim is to secure supply chain of. Aim is to secure supply chain of critical minerals critical minerals for advanced manufacturing, for advanced manufacturing and logistic capabilities, and logistic capabilities such as semiconductors, AI, etc. Semiconductors, AI, etc. Okay, as you all know that now every country is moving towards AI, machine learning, semiconductors, everything, right? So if you want to develop that kind of advanced technology, we need critical minerals and rare earth metals. Do all these countries in the world, do they have these resources? For sure, no. Only certain countries they have this critical minerals and rare earth metals. Because of this, the countries like India will be getting disadvantaged because India is not having the reserves of critical minerals and assets, rare earth metals. We are importing from other countries. So here this summit is focusing on supply chains, like how other which countries are having these reserves and how they are supplying that to other countries. We have to ensure that free and equitable resource share. We have to ensure proper supply of these critical minerals. If one country is not supplying, that means it will be affecting every country's economy, right? So that is the thing which mainly said this summit came up by this US and it wants to secure supply chains of critical minerals so that we have to ensure development of semiconductors, AI, machine learning in every country. Okay, and actually India is very much connected to this because India is developing country and India is having huge ambition to become third largest economy. For all these things we need to have this critical minerals and as well as rare earth metals for sure. So here India is not a founding member, but India is also participating in this kind of summits so that India can ensure supply chain diversification of critical minerals. Okay, yeah, now let us see the questions. If possible, see this first two paragraphs. You'll be getting certain idea. Okay, so what is this PAX means? PAX in Latin it means piece. Silica means nothing but key compound in chip making industry or chip industry. This is the meaning of PAX Silica Declaration. Okay, so this declaration is nothing but the initiative seeks to reduce coercive dependencies and it wants to secure global technology AI supply chains and they want to build trusted digital infrastructure. After the class, just make note of this. What is PAX? PAX is nothing but piece. Silica is nothing but the compound which is used for making of chips in industries. And this initiative is nothing but we want to reduce dependency on other countries. We want to ensure supply chain diversification so that we can ensure AI and as well as we can make digital trusted infrastructure. Clear? So this point is very important. So here also they gave lots of data. Here you can see US and Japan's are technological powerhouses. Austria is leading exporter of lithium. And next one is Netherlands is leading firms like ASML. And this one is South Korea is well known for manufacturing of memory chips. Singapore also has a long history of chip manufacturing. Israel had Israel has made significant strides in AI software, defense related technologies, and UK is the third largest AI market. Qatar and UAE have large investment funds. Okay, so try to make the notes from this paragraph. Okay, you may get questions on this also. Which of the following countries are excelling? Even if one statement is, if they give one statement from this, also you can try to eliminate the other statements in your. So please do make notes of these three paragraphs after one's class is done. Take out the paper and write down this. This is very important for the students who are going to write this year exam. Okay, now let us see the questions. Consider the following statements regarding Pax Silica. First one, it seeks to counter Chinese dominance in critical minerals, processing rare earth metals and semiconductor supply chains. This initiative focuses only on advanced semiconductors fabrication and excludes upstream areas like critical mineral refining. As of January 2026, US has indicated that India will be invited to join Pax Silica to strengthen bilateral technology and strategic cooperation. Which of the given statements are correct? See this once and think on this. And next question is assertion reason based question. UK agreed to transfer sovereignty of Chagos Islands to Mauritius, primarily to resolve long-standing legal challenges and secure the long-term future of Diogretia military base. And reason is international court rulings, including ICJ in 2019 and United Nations General Assembly resolutions, declared UK separation of Chagos from Mauritius in 1965 unlawful and urged decolonization. Okay, online students, please tell me the answers in the comment box for these two questions. And if you want to get explanation, you have to follow the next day's class. And if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And do subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy, don't forget. And if you want to get the PDF of this class, you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in the description box. Thank you guys.